Hey, what's up? It's Tati, and I'm back with another review of AEW Dynamite. We started off so good. So we're starting off with Juice Robinson versus Ricky Starks. For whatever reasons, even after watching the show, Juice had got like a jobber's entrance, so he was already in the ring by the time the show started. And then I thought that was a little strange. Then Ricky music hits off starting the show, and he comes out. And before he could really even get comfortable in the ring, another song played. So it was really surprising since we already had both opponents in the ring. And then out of the blue, here comes Jay White. Jay White of all people. Now, this really took me by surprise. I know people would probably expected that he would have came like at a pay-per-view or heavily promoted show. And it didn't really happen like that. So it was really surprising to see that he would come out. Not that he would come out and help Juice. Obviously not, because they're in a Bullet Club together. But they put a beat down on Ricky. And I really love that. I love seeing things that are not predictable. However, you know how it is on the internet. People are talking about Jay White saw Monday Night Raw and called up Tony immediately and told him, I don't know what's going on over there, but I don't want to be there. I'd rather sign with you guys. So he is signed with them. Could this have been a signing from way before Monday Night Raw? Probably so. I think people just get, their information from their asses and think that, he would have been able to sign with AEW because of what he saw with WWE. Me personally, I never thought he was going to sign with WWE. Coming from New Japan, I really feel like a lot of guys coming from New Japan, having that type of career and a lot of freedom to be able to participate with other promotions, they're not going to want to go to WWE just to have a mediocre career and only be exclusive to them. So I'm really glad to see Jay White here. And the whole feud with Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson will continue. I'm not so happy about that, but I'm interested to see where it goes. Up next, we had the trios titles on the line with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends versus the House of Black. I really enjoyed this match. I think everybody had great chemistry. I really feel like with this match, there was like a little bit of a different focus on House of Black doing things as a team in and out the ring, and I really like that. Obviously, their strength and size definitely was an advantage in this match. But I do feel like Best Friends were able to hold their own throughout this match. Oh, I did enjoy Trent Beretta's mom, Sue, dropping them off. I thought that was cool. It's been a while since we've seen Sue. But other than that, I really like how House of Black is looking. I really wish they would push them a little bit more to be more menacing. But I think they're doing great. I think what's lacking right now is a really great feud. Yes, we've seen them having, little matches here and there with the Best Friends, but they don't have anything solid going on with them now. Throughout this match, we do see LFI sitting ringside and they're watching, and I like that. So now I feel like, okay, they got really good team keeping an eye out on the trios title. They already lost that opportunity to win the ROH tag titles. So now they're a trio and they're, taking a look at House of Black. So I hope we get to see a really nice feud with them too. Not just a match on Rampage or Dynamite, like a feud. That's what the trio titles need. Anyway, I enjoyed this match. It was really great. However, our House of Black did take the win. We did have Anna Jay watching the match backstage. She obviously got beef with Julia, so I'm interested to see where that goes. Please, Tony, give these guys a really strong storyline. They really need it. Right after that match, we see a scene playing out backstage where a silhouette of a person is walking to a room that is bright red. And the person turned around and it's Christian. So I marked out. I love Christian. Now, then we see someone coming from that bright red room, and it's Luchasaurus. He has a totally different look, but you can't see his face that well. I think his mask is red. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that was a reflection from the light. But they look so badass in that moment. Now, I do think that AEW kind of messed up a little bit with this, because right before Christian shows his face, Excalibur mentions Christian, like literally seconds before. I think for the people who's watching TV, that kind of, I don't want to say ruined the moment, but it kind of took away the surprise because you heard it first, right? Versus the people that was in the crowd, when Christian turns around, they can't hear anybody in the commentator's booth. So when Christian turned around, the crowd pops. So that's like a different reaction. I really wish I didn't mention it before Christian had turned around. But either way, they look so good, and I can't wait to see what they got going on. Up next, we had AEW Women's title on the line, Jamie Hayter versus Riho. This was a really great match, and what made it so much better was for finally, since the whole outcasting started, we had no interference with an AEW Women's match. So I really enjoyed this. However, I do think the match ran kind of long. I don't know. There was like a little bit of a fast pace going on with the show prior to their match. So I think it really stood out for going maybe a little too long. I enjoyed this match. Jamie Hayter started the match right off the bat with a haterade, trying to end Riho quickly. But we knew that Riho, she's a big baby face, so they wasn't going to let the match end so quickly with her. Like I said, it went a little too long. You had the crowd going for both of these girls. Like I said, no interruption. Oh my God, I was so happy about that. But I was kind of worried that might happen. I think this is the first match in a really long time where Jamie Hayter is just the focus of things. She's the women's champion. She's been caught up with the whole outcasting that we really haven't gotten to see that great of a run with her specifically, because there's a lot of things that she's involved with that stupid storyline where it's like we should have seen her more often defending the title or being in some type of situation where she was in the ring often. So I'm really glad that we got to see this. The only complaint here, Riho is so small, and it just seems like AEW wants you to believe that she can persevere no matter who the opponent is. And sometimes I feel like it just doesn't really look like that on camera because everybody has a size advantage on her. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but sometimes I'm just like, do they really want us to believe that she's going to win this match? So anyway, I enjoyed it. No interruptions. We did have the Outcast right after the show talking about one of the three of them are going to go after the title from Jamie. And then now they tried not to argue about it, but they were like, well, it's going to be one of them. We don't know who. So I guess it'll be interesting to see each of these girls try to get a shot at the title, and if that would break up their whole little group. I hope it does, because I'm over it. So next we had the MJF celebration thing. I guess it's MJF Day in Long Island. And I really like this. I know some people probably did not, because they probably think it went a little too long, but we had MJF singing with a band. And to be honest, I think he sounded great. I really did enjoy this. Now, people did think that this whole thing ran a little bit long. He had got the key to the city, and also he gave a speech and all that. And the person who gave a little speech before MJF had came out, I think he's like the mayor or something of that town. They were booing the hell out of him. I don't know what he's done, but I was just like, whoa, that is crazy. And it was chanting something while he was talking. I couldn't tell what it was. But this dude has major heat in the city, and that's real life heat. So that was kind of interesting to see. Yeah, this whole thing did run a little bit long. But after MJF, does his speech, and then he says he's implying that everybody wants to hear him sing again. So he goes back up to the band, and he's getting ready to sing, and someone is like not really cooperating, and it turns out to be Jungle Boy. Now they're fighting with each other, and then while they're fighting with each other and everybody got them separated, then Sammy Guevara comes out and he sees a Triple B and he holds it up. This was a really great transition because Sammy really just came out for that moment, but then also his match was next with Commander. So I like how they transitioned into that without wasting any other time. So it was a really great moment. It did run a little bit long. If you have not seen that, I think you might enjoy that little show that MJF gave. And I don't know, I like him a lot. He's really great. Next we had Sammy Guevara versus Commander. This was another great match if you've never really seen them. So here's my complaint. Maybe I'm being a little bit much here, but I feel like these past few weeks we've seen quite a bit from Sammy. We've seen, I think, maybe a little bit more from Commander, and it feels like watching this match made me feel like I was watching another one of their matches from the past few weeks. Like, it's almost as if they're recycling the same moves a lot in every single match. So it's almost easy to kind of mistake them for a previous match because you're seeing a lot of the same things. And I'm not saying that they need to have like pay-per-view caliber matches every time they come out. That's not even what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that every time you come out, yes, you're going to have those, those moves that's in your arsenal that you use typically. But I don't want to see the same old things every single time. Like, you have to have some new tricks up your sleeves, especially since you're being on TV a lot and you just don't want it to seem like we're seeing the same old thing. I don't know if I'm being a little bit too critical, but I really felt like that throughout this match. They had great chemistry and everything worked out with these two. I just feel like I saw this before, And Commander, I don't know what his status is as far as being part of a promotion. I'm not sure if he's with AAA, but I'm glad that he's here, and I really do feel like whether he wins his matches or loses matches, this is a great opportunity for him. I'm pretty sure everybody knew he wasn't going to win, especially now that AEW is building Sammy, Jack, and Darby to, come on really strong before they go against MJF. However, I just feel like we need to see different things in this matches so it doesn't seem like we're seeing the same thing all the time. Yes, Sammy took the win. I was just a little disappointed because I was like, man, I wish they were just doing some different stuff rather than the usual. Either way, after the match, we do have Sammy who does a really great promo on why he's better than MJF. And even though I don't like Sammy, he was speaking facts here, and I totally agree with everything that he was saying. Basically MJF had a lot of help to get to where he's at. But I guess one can argue that Sammy had help too with the JS, and I don't know. I just feel like, also he had the inner circle as well. So I think the same thing could be said about both, but he had a really good point that he said he loved AEW. He's not using AEW to go somewhere else. And you get that vibe from MJF because he actually says that, and how in 2024 there's going to be a bidding war between WWE and AEW for him. Is that just him being arrogant for storyline purposes? Maybe. However, I do feel like Sammy looks really, really great coming into that match that they're going to have with MJF. The other guys, I feel like we haven't seen that much of Jack and Darby. So let's see where it goes. So I skipped over a moment with the Acclaim supposed to giving their answer to the JAS about them joining. Max Caster has a rap where he basically says no. However, the JAS don't take that for an answer because they already scheduled for them to be in an 8-man tag match on Rampage. They don't say who their opponents are, but it seems like JS is not taking no for an answer, and it seems a little bit silly, but I don't know where they're going with this. Next, we had Hook versus Ethan Page, and I was disappointed with this, but I expected to be disappointed. Every time Hook comes out, he always have these really quick matches, and that's it. I don't like it. I know Hook is kind of geared to having almost zero personality, I guess. I'm not bothered by that. What I'm bothered by is that they always put him out there to win with almost no effort. So now we have Ethan Page, who I feel like that first minute or so was dominating the match. And I like that because it's not something that we see often when Hook is in the ring. And the only thing I think that really changed things here was Matt Hardy hitting Ethan Page with the FTW championship. It has been long overdue, to be honest with you. But that came to me as a surprise because I honestly thought they was dragging out that storyline for a lot longer. But I was happy to see that. And that right there was an advantage for Hook to go for the red rum. And by then, Ethan Page was already knocked the fuck out for being a hit with the title. And it's just like, when are we going to do something new with Hook? It's the same damn thing, and you want people to like him? I think that they don't really know what they want to do with Hook, so they're just having him coast on by without really truly showing the best Hook can do. I would, if I was Taz, I would be disappointed. I would be like, hold on, my son deserves better than this. I don't know. It's really disappointing. I didn't like it. So next we have Tony Khan's important announcement. And the announcement was that they were going to have a all-in pay-per-view in the UK. I think August 27th. I think that's right. And I saw this coming. However, prior to this, people were thinking that that would be the news. But then the dirt sheets had came out talking about that this was them having another televised TV show. And when they say stupid shit like this, like telling us like they know that's what's going to happen, then everyone on the internet takes that information and run with it. So let me read what Eric Bischoff said prior to Tony Khan announcing the pay-per-view. He says, "Good for them. I think it's stupid. I think it's a dumb move. Their product is soft on television as it is. Their core product is inconsistent, and that's being really, really kind in terms of creative." This is him talking about if they were to have extra TV time with another live show or maybe tape show. And it's like, well, you're responding to that as if you knew that was the case. And now you know it had nothing to do with them having another TV show. This is all about them announcing a pay-per-view. How many people are wrong right now? This is why I don't read these things, because it's like they take some information, tell everybody, and make it seem like whatever they're saying is absolute true. And then when we find out that it's not true, you don't hear a word from them. Yeah, annoying. So next we had the BCC come out. We were supposed to hear some words from them. And BCC was like, no, we got nothing to say. We just want to fight. So they were coming out from the audience, and they were literally walking around for like 5 minutes amongst the fans, which was cool for them. That's great. They got in the ring, and there were some guys I think we've never seen before in AEW that just got a beatdown from the BCC, and I really didn't. I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't say I liked it. I would have preferred them beat down people that we are used to seeing in AEW rather than people that seems like a bunch of nobodies. So I was kind of surprised that they wasn't coming out to say anything. So after that beatdown, we do have Bryan Danielson. He's talking about how much he loves every member of the BCC. I think he called Wheeler Yuta specifically like a shithead or something like that. But he said really, really nice things about Moxley and Claudio, so I thought that was kind of funny. However, then Bryan goes into not necessarily a rant, but he's talking about how BCC is better than everybody. And one thing that caught me off guard was him talking about how he said after everything that he's seen this week, they're the only real professional wrestlers in America. So I think that was a little bit of a jab to WWE with what they've been doing. But I really like them here in this moment after the beatdown, because it just seems like, well, who the hell y'all beating on? Like a bunch of nobodies? I just feel like they should have had that. Well, if they did beat on some AEW guys, then that would have probably looked like they were burying them. So maybe I understand why they chose some people that we were not accustomed to. But either way, after that portion, I do feel like BCC looks good. I like them. They're their biggest heels, but I have to say this. I don't think we're going to see BCC versus House of Black anytime soon. If anything, they're going to keep these guys away from each other as long as possible. We do have Hangman, who had a death wish, coming out and getting his ass beat. And Bryan had a screwdriver in his pocket, and he busted his head open with that. I loved it. Great. main event time with FTR versus the Guns. Now, if the Guns loses, obviously they lose the title. If FTR loses, then they leave AEW. I didn't for one second think that they would leave AEW. So I knew that the Guns were really going to have to put a really good fight. And to be honest, I think this is the best match I've actually seen them in since they've been in AEW. So props to them for that. So it did seem like they got desperate and resulted to cheating, which they've been doing, but this one felt a little bit different. Obviously, they really want to keep those titles. They can care less about where the hell FTR goes if they lose, but you could tell they were really desperate to keep the titles. So yes, they would do things to cheat, and obviously using the tag titles to hurt their opponents for leverage. But none of that worked, and FTR ended up taking the win. And to be honest, I'm happy that happened, because really since the Guns won, which is, I don't want to blame them, I really feel like AEW just didn't have a really solid build to the Guns winning. Yes, they had somewhat of a build, with the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn. However, I think it was really, really weak. So once they won, it just felt like they weren't they didn't have opportunities to truly show themselves as champions. So I would definitely say that Austin and Colton's run as tag team champions did not look good. Seeing what they've been doing with ROH tag division over there, I knew it was time. FTR needed to win this, because for ROH to be, I guess you can say, another company that they started working on recently, and for them to have a better tag division than your big show, that's kind of insane. So they had to make this change. It was definitely the right call. Whether or not FTR stays, I really don't care. But I do like them, but I just feel like regardless, this division definitely needs to be back to where it was a few months ago. Now, I know some people are upset and want to see FTR in WWE. And also people were saying that they don't think that they might have a great run, because we did not get to see FTR often last year. And I think the reason why we didn't see them often last year is because they were holding titles for 3 different promotions, one not even being AEW's. ROH did not have a weekly show, so we wasn't going to see them often. AAA, another tag titles that they had. What else did they have? Ooh, I'm missing something. But anyway, they just did not have, the AEW titles. So, of course, we didn't get this chance to see them being featured on AEW often last year. Now that they have the tag titles, we'll definitely be seeing them. And, they'll definitely help that division. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. Yes, I do feel like the Guns, if they have some more work, they can really be a great tag team champions in the future, but right now that's not happening. I did enjoy the show overall. I can't wait to see what happened next week, and congrats to the UK for getting a really big pay-per-view. I wish it would just come back to Florida and gives us a really great pay-per-view, but that's definitely not happening. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll see you for Rampage.